Real estate agents, do you want to move your business forward? Well, I'm here to help. Hey guys, Brittany with Brittany Hannon Real Estate. I'm a real estate agent, coach, and investor. And every Monday at 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, I'm here to bring you information that's going to help move your business forward. Whether you're a brand new beginner or an advanced top producer, I'm going to bring you key tips and tricks and strategies to move your business forward. This is your official invitation to join us live every Monday at 11:30 a.m. They're totally free. And if you want more information about coaching, check the link in my bio and I would love to help. Now let's jump into this week's workshop. We are talking about your business plan check-in. It's already the end of Q1. So, we always talk about our business plan around November, December, because we want to make sure that in January you can jump in and get going. So now we're done with the first 3 months of the year already, which is crazy. And a lot of times the busiest time of our year is the first quarter and the second quarter. So what we want to always make sure that we're doing is we want to make sure that we're checking in with our business plan at the end of each quarter, see how we're progressing, see if we're on track, see what we need to do to make tweaks and changes. So today I want us to do that. Now, I want you to pull out your business plan if you have it. If you do not have a business plan, I want to make sure that you guys are taking notes so that you can create your business plan. We're going to talk a little bit about your business plan and what that'll should consist of and some things like that, but we're not diving into the business plan. We're really talking about your goals and making sure you're on track. So let's talk about where we're headed today. We're going to talk about focus. This is actually something that if you're in foundation group coaching with me, we've been really talking about. There are 10,000 things that you can do in real estate. We need to focus. We need to focus our energy on what we're doing. So that's what the first part of this, we're going to be talking about how do we focus and what do we focus on. We're also going to be talking about goal setting. Then we're going to talk about command your goals. So we're going to jump into command and I'm going to show you what that looks like in command. Then we're going to talk about how to win, what's important now, and your bonus. So let's jump in. All right, so what do we want to focus on for Q2? Now, I kind of love this little GIF because it's funny in that, not funny, but it's poignant, I guess I should say, because you look at The Rock here, who is so at the top of his game physically, obviously, and he is in the gym. He's doing what it takes and he's focusing on specific targeted areas to get the outcome that he wants. And so we have to do the same thing for our business. We have to focus on targeted areas to get the outcome that we want. Now, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to focus is you need to focus on your database. Pure and simple. If you're not making $125,000 in GCI, you need to focus on your database. Even if you are making over $125,000 GCI, you need to focus on your database. We need to grow it. We need to shape it. We need to water it. We need to nurture it. Our database is our data bank. That is where our money comes from. So what do we want to focus on? We need to reflect back on the first quarter. We need to think about what is it that what were our goals and where are we in that? Have we achieved those goals? Are we a quarter of the way through our goals? If we're not, then we need to reset, right? We don't want to change our goals necessarily. We want to say, okay, if my goals were to sell 10 houses and I've only sold one, what am I going to do to make sure in the next 6 months or in the next 3 months, I can sell 6? What do I need to do to make that happen? So we have to reflect. We have to think back on what's there, which is why I say if you have your business plan, make sure you have it in front of you today. We want to talk about what are our 2024 goals, and you need to focus. How do we get there? What is the next best thing to do? In the book, The One Thing, if you haven't read it, it talks about, I'm going to get a drink, hold on one second. My allergies are going crazy today. The book, The One Thing, talks about what's the next thing that you need to do. Well, really not the next thing, the first thing, that when you do it, it'll make everything else unnecessary or easier. So for our 2024 goals, we want to get down to what is that next thing that we need to do. For most of you, if we need to grow our database, that should be your goal for 2024, grow your database. Because we don't want to talk about closing. We want to talk about what are the activities that we need to do to get to the close. The activity that we need to do to get to the close is to get under contract. Well, how do we get under contract? By having appointments. Well, how do we have appointments? By having conversations. And so those conversations are what we need to focus on. So we need to focus on how do we get to our goals? Well, for most of you, it's going to be about increasing the number of conversations that we have. And then, of course, this is just kind of a gimme. You need to time block for success. If you want to focus, you have to control your calendar. If you want to get to the level of The Rock, you have got to time block. Every successful person time blocks. You cannot be successful. You cannot manage multiple streams of income. You cannot you can't manage one stream of income without time blocking. And what I mean by that is take your calendar and set times for everything that you need to do. So when we focus on something, we give it our full focused intensity for that time that we need to be there. Outside of that time, we're going to focus 100% on something else. So for me, for instance, I am a full-time real estate agent and I'm also a coach. Well, when I'm coaching, like right now, usually Mondays are my days for coaching. So if I'm coaching, I'm fully in on coaching. I'm not texting my clients saying, oh, what do you need, while I'm here fully in this. I'm fully in coaching. Then once I'm done with this and I move on to the next thing, I can be fully in for my clients. I can be fully in for my lead generation. I can be fully in for the conversations I'm having. So we need to time block so that our brains can quiet out the extra noise and really focus on what it is we need to do at the specific time that we need to do it. Hey guys, we're going to jump into the workshop in just a second, but if you're getting value out of this, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you get more videos just like this as soon as they come out. And remember, if you're interested in coaching, reach out to me at the link below. I'd love to talk more about your individual business and how I could help move your business forward. Now let's jump back into the workshop. All right, so let's talk about I wanted to give you some ideas to get your wheels spinning for fueling Q2. We've talked about these before and I've thrown some new ones in, but number one, your SOI, your spirit, is always going to be the most important thing that you do. And so you need to reconnect with your SOI. So what does that look like? Taking them out to coffee, going out to lunch, giving a quick phone call, commenting on their social media. It doesn't matter. Reconnect with them. When we talk about putting your SOI on the quarterly call plan for the SMART plan, what that means is that you need to reach out to them quarterly, whatever that looks like for you. If you don't ever call them, but you have a relationship where you're texting, then text them. If you are not to that point yet, reach out on social media. If you are good friends, or if they're one of your ambassadors, like somebody who's really going to shout your name from the rooftops, you need to make it a point to have a physical interaction with them. You need to sit down, go to lunch, go to coffee, do something as basically a thank you for getting your name out there. So reconnect with your SOI. You need to be doing open houses. If you're not doing open houses, you're missing out on a lot. We talk about this all the time. The top 2 lead gen sources. Number 1 is your SOI. Number 2 are open houses. So you want to make sure that you're not leaving money on the table by just sitting out of open houses. Open houses are a great way to get buyers. And as things shift and change, this is going to be one of the best ways to get buyers, because now that buyers are going to have to sign a buyer's rep agreement, open houses are going to be one of the only ways that they can come in and see it without signing that buyer's rep agreement. And of course, things are changing and we don't know what's going to happen until July, but just keep that in mind. Open houses, if you're in here listening to me today, open houses are going to be a really good way for you to get business. So make sure that you're reaching out to agents to try and get those open houses. Number 3, events. Having events, if you're not to the point where you can fund an event yet, that's okay. Tag on to somebody else's event. If somebody's doing a volunteer thing, if somebody's doing a pop-up party, if somebody's doing an event of their own, maybe you can be a sponsor, maybe you can just help with it and volunteer. Events are a really good way for you to get face time. Number 3, hop on those social media trends. This is for you guys who are doing social media. If you're not doing social media, obviously forget this, but hop on those social media trends. When there are silly things that you can do, that's what's going to get you the views, and getting views and getting engagement is really the end game. You want to get that engagement because you want to be showing up in your SOI's feed. And if they're engaging with you, then the algorithms are going to say, oh, they want to talk to each other. They want to see what each other's posting. So then when you post about real estate, they're going to see that. So make sure to hop on those social media trends, even if they're cringy, even if they're silly. You don't have to do everything, and this is only for people who are wanting to do social media as a legit lead gen tactic, but this is a good one. Number 5, giveaways. Giveaways are a good way to grow your, either grow your social media or grow your email list. Like you can do a giveaway where you say, hey, I'm gonna do a raffle where we're giving away, all of this stuff, which by the way, you can get sponsorships for, you can get other people to pay for this raffle, whatever it is. And then you can say, I'm going to do this giveaway. All you have to do is shoot me your email and tell me, what you're interested in or what you like about it or whatever, doesn't matter. But that way you can either grow your social media or you can grow your email list. And having a good email list is always good, especially if you do a lot of email marketing, which you should be. Join a community group. This is another way to grow your SOI. This is just one more idea for you to grow your SOI. Join a community group, any kind of community group, whether that's your HOA, whether that is a city board, whether that is a volunteer organization, whether that is like a beach cleanup. It doesn't matter. Join some kind of community, because we always say this, you want to be in relationship with people who know, like, and trust you, because that's who's going to do business with you. So think about, who is it, where is it that I enjoy? Because what you enjoy is going to be what other people enjoy, and that's going to grow your tribe. That's how you're going to find people who know, like, and trust you, because you have a common interest. Maybe it's your kids' soccer team. Maybe it's, anything to do with kids is a really, really good way to do that. Start a YouTube channel. Again, this is not for everybody. If you don't want to grow a YouTube channel, don't start one. It's pointless. But start a YouTube channel if this is something that you're interested in. Get organized. Now is a really good time to make sure that you're organized, because everything that we do, we want to make sure that we can scale. So if you can do something, so a good example of this is you can pretty much you can get away with not having your database. You can get away with not having everybody in command when you have 1 or 2 clients. But when you have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 clients a year, you cannot get away with that anymore. If you do, you are very much losing out on business. So use this time to get organized, get into command, get comfortable with command, know how to use it, know how to set it up, get organized. Declutter. This is definitely an idea for kind of like spring cleaning. Use this opportunity to declutter your home office. If you have a bunch of real estate signs everywhere, stuff like that, just clean them off, dust them off, declutter, get them organized. And then number 10, update your goals, which is what we're going to be talking about today. All right, let's talk about that goal setting. So a goal without a plan is just a wish. In coaching, we talk about goals a lot, and specifically we pair your goal with a commitment. What is your commitment to make this happen? So we talk about how important it is to have conversations, how important it is to lead gen, how important it is to do all these things. And then we follow it up with the accountability and we say, okay, what are you committed to make that happen this week? Because we understand that a goal without a plan is just a wish. What happens to wishes? Wishes come true by chance. We don't want to leave our business up to chance. That's not a business plan. That is a wish. That's a hope. We do not operate off of hope. We operate off of a goal and a plan to make that goal achieved. All right, so when we talk about goals, you guys have seen this before. You've heard us talk about this. We always want to make sure that our goals are SMART goals. We want to make sure that they are specific. So if we just say, I'm going to lead gen more, that is not specific enough. What does that mean? What does lead gen more mean? You have to state exactly what you want to accomplish. So we need to say, okay, well, I am going to join a community group. I'm going to go to this community group once a week. And when you're in that community group, maybe you're saying every time you go, your goal is to get one phone number, or your goal is to have 2 real estate conversations, or your goal is to invite somebody out for coffee outside of that group. Whatever it is, you need to get specific. So let's say a very common goal for us in real estate is to say, okay, I'm going to lead gen. So that means I'm going to have 10 real estate conversations a day. 10 real estate conversations a day. So that's specific, real estate conversations. It's measurable. So we're saying 10 conversations a day. We're able to track that. We're able to measure that. We're able to say, did it happen or did it not happen? Achievable. 10 conversations a day, that's achievable. We can do that. We can have 10 conversations a day. So we want to make sure our goal is reasonable. Realistic. We want to set a goal that's relevant to your life. So if we're saying, oh, I'm going to lead gen and I'm going to join 15 community groups, but you're like a super duper introvert, that's probably not realistic for your life. So you want to set something that is realistic for your life. And then timely. I like time bound better. Give yourself time, but set a deadline. So when we say, okay, I'm going to do 10 conversations a day, that is time bound. It's each day. If I don't do it, the next day I have to do 20. By the end of the week, I will have had 50 real estate conversations because we're operating off of a 5-day work week. So that is a SMART goal. If we say 10 real estate conversations a day, it's also something that you can tweak and change. So if you say, well, I know that I'm going to be going to Cancun this week, so I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is the week before, I'm going to have 75 conversations that week. So we can tweak it and we can change it. We can shift it based on our life. Because if we say, I'm going to do 10 conversations a day, no matter what, that's not realistic for our life. We have to make it realistic because otherwise it's just going to be a wish. We're not going to achieve it and we're not going to meet our goals. All right, when we talk about our goals, we don't just talk about our goals for real estate. Because one thing that we know is real estate touches every other area of our life. Especially because of the type of job that it is, where it's kind of like an always working, never working kind of situation, where we're, even on vacation, we're making phone calls, we're doing that kind of stuff. We have to make sure that our spouse is on board. We have to make sure that we're still taking time out to rest and relax. Even if, if we're saying, oh, well, I'm going to church every Sunday, but I'm still having real estate conversations when I go to church. You should be, because that's part of that community that you're building. You should have real estate conversations. But I know a lot of people who are saying, I don't want to mix the two. You don't have to mix it. It just naturally flows in. So we want to make sure that we're taking a holistic approach. And when we think of our goals, it is not just our real estate goals. It is goals for a well-rounded life. So we need to think of these SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, time-bound. And we need to put it in all of these areas. So spiritual, what does that look like for you? Whether it's church, whether it's meditating, whether it's connecting with any kind of higher power, whether it's yoga, whatever spiritual looks like for you, what is that goal that's associated with it? How do we want to improve our life, improve our spiritual life? Number 2 is going to be our health. This is related, right? To, if we, especially for us in real estate, we're a sole proprietorship. We are self-employed. We are our own boss. And so if we can't stay healthy, we cannot work. And so this very much is related to our job. So what are our health goals? Maybe our health goals are that we want to lose 20 pounds this year. Maybe it's that we want to start eating healthy. Maybe it's that we want to move more. Whatever it is, you can set a SMART goal for that. So if I said, well, I wanted to move my body more. Okay, well, I'm going to walk 7 days a week. I'm going to go on a walk. Doesn't matter. Maybe I should set a time for that, because we do want it to be specific. So I'm going to do a 15-minute walk 7 days a week. And then on top of that, maybe I'll also say, in addition, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. So I really get my heart rate pumping and I sweat. So I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week for at least half an hour, 3 times a week. So now I have a specific measurable goal where I'm saying it's time bound. So it's 3 times a week. I get to decide when that is, but I need to go back to time blocking to make sure I block that time out. I'm saying I'm still going on a walk every single day. And then on top of that, I'm going to the gym more. Now, keep in mind, there are so many things that I could do. I could say I also need to eat right. I need to eat more protein. I need to eat more fiber. I need to eat less calories. I need to go on, I need to go to the gym 7 days a week. There are so many things that we could do. I'm focusing on one thing: moving more. So narrow it down to what is the one thing that's really going to move the needle for you in this aspect of your life. Just like we did when we were talking about real estate. What is the one thing that's going to move the needle? It's going to be that lead generation. And realistically, it's about having conversations. So we need to say, okay, I'm going to have 10 real estate conversations a day. It's the same kind of thing in every aspect of our lives. We need to narrow it down to what is going to get us to our goal. This is the plan for it. Creating those SMART goals is the plan for getting us to our eventual goal. We need to have a plan for money, especially with an irregular income. We have got to have a plan for our money. When money comes in, what are we doing with it? Where is it going? Hint, you need to be paying yourself first, whether that's in savings, paying off debt, whatever that is. You need to pay yourself first. So put your money in savings. When we talk about money, we need to also consider that this is a really big element of our job, right? because we need to spend money. We have expenses that we need to spend money on, marketing, advertising, that kind of thing. But we also need to save money because we need to make sure that we have it during those downtimes. So we have to make sure we have a goal with money. So again, set that SMART goal. And I'm hoping that you guys are writing these down. That's your homework, is write down each of these goals for the well-rounded life, each of these areas, and then you need to come up with a goal for your own self for each of these areas. What is the one thing that's going to move the needle? Self-care. This is one that we forget about a lot, or we just ignore. We say, I don't really need that, who cares? But here's where we can start tying things together. Our self-care could be tied to our health, maybe, if you like that kind of thing. If you don't like it, then don't tie it. But it could be, you know, like your self-care could be going on that walk 15 minutes a day at maybe like a stressful part in your day or something like that. Maybe your self-care is taking a bath once a week. Maybe your self-care is going out and getting your nails done. Maybe your self-care, there are so many things that you could do for your self-care. So thinking about that, we need to make time for that. We need to time block for that. Maybe your self-care is just that you cut off talking to clients by a certain time every night. Maybe that's 8 o'clock, maybe that's 7 o'clock, maybe that's 6 o'clock. I know agents who say, I work 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that is it. I do not work weekends, I do not work nights. Now I will say, in the beginning of your career, a lot of agents choose to work a lot more than that, which is why this is such an important conversation. But if you say, I'm going to cut it off, and from 6 to 8 is going to be my family time, and then at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock I can do more work, and then at 9 o'clock I'm shutting it down. So think about what that looks like, and you can, hopefully you can see how these really are all intertwined with each other. Number 5, fun and relaxation. How are you going to prioritize fun and relaxation when you have a job that calls for you to be on the weekends, at night, you know, all the time? You have to time block it. You have to put it in your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. So what's that goal for you? Maybe it's a vacation that you want to plan. For me, that is like my love language, is going on vacations. So maybe it's a vacation that you want to plan. So put it in your calendar, budget for it. Maybe that is tied to your money thing. Whatever it is, make a goal for it. Career and business. So this is more like big picture stuff. Where do we want our business to be in 5 years? If we want our business to be, if we want to be a top producer, running a team, all of that kind of stuff, what do we need to do today to get to that point? You know, one of the things that we emphasize in coaching as you go and get further along, is we emphasize tracking your numbers, tracking the conversations that you had, tracking your closings, tracking all of that kind of stuff. But so often, a lot of people let that slip. But when you are leading a team, when you are running a business, truly running a business, you can't let that slip. You have to know your numbers. And so maybe that's a habit that you get in today, starting now, is that you track your numbers. Remember, we're thinking backwards to what's the one thing that's going to move our business forward. Number 7, family and friends. We need to put that in our calendar. Make sure we have time for that. Maybe this ties into your fun and relaxation. Maybe not. Maybe this is something that you say, if I want to have fun and relax, it is going to be far, far away from my family and friends. That's not me. I am like, I want everybody around as much as possible. My wife, on the other hand, she's like, I want to be alone. That is my fun and relaxation. So you have to decide what that looks like for you. And then number 8, your love life. If you're married, maybe this looks like an intentional date night every single week. Maybe this looks like getting away once a month. Maybe it looks like a big vacation and you're tying it back in. So you see what I mean here. I'm kind of helping you connect the dots. where all of these are really interrelated. But you need to take that step. You need to now take all of these different areas and create a goal, a SMART goal, specific, measurable, how was it again? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. There we go. Did I get it?
It was achievable for the A, but yeah.
Thank you. Achievable. My brain stopped working. So we need to come up with that SMART goal for every part of our lives, every different situation. We have to make sure we have a SMART goal. So that's your homework at the end of this. Hopefully you've been doing it with me. All right. So let's talk about goals and habits. So I love this because I say it all the time. You guys have heard this. My goal in 2020, and we can just say 2024, is to accomplish the goals I set in 2019, which I should have done in 2018 because I made a promise in 2017, which I planned in 2016. This is so true of all of us. We have these goals, we have these wishes, we have these big lofty plans for our lives, but we don't do anything to actually set it in motion. What we need to do is we need to form a habit. What we know to be true, and there's a book called Atomic Habits that I know a lot of you have read. What we need to do is we don't want to have a goal for the sake of a goal. We don't want to say, okay, I'm going to have 10 real estate conversations and then never do anything about it. Or we do it for a couple of days, but it just feels kind of clunky and it's not exactly what it should be. What we need to do is get up and do the same thing every single day. Because when we do that, it takes it out of our brain needing to actually come up with the willpower to make it happen. It makes it that it's just something that we do. We don't have to think about getting up and brushing our teeth or getting up and taking a shower or getting up and getting dressed. We just do it. That's not something that we're like, oh, I have to do this. I mean, sometimes, sure. But we've had a habit formed, so we do it easily. Our brains don't have to click in and be like, okay, I need to pull out my toothbrush. I need to pull out my toothpaste. I need to turn it on. I need to brush my teeth. Our brains just naturally do it. And that's what we need to do with our goals. When we have our goals set, now we need to form a habit. So here's how we do that. And this comes from Atomic Habits, I believe. To form a habit, we need to make it obvious. So we need to make it something that let me use the goal I always have. So if we talk about having 10 real estate conversations a day, you should be in command every single day. You should be writing down what you had with those conversations. I had a past client, almost client, who I talked to maybe 6 months ago, and she was telling me all about her situation and everything like that. Then she ended up saying, no, never mind, I'm not going to do it. And I said, okay, great. When you're ready, call me back, let me know. She called me back, said, okay, now I'm ready. Okay, great. I was like, okay, I know bits and pieces of her situation, but I don't remember everything. I go into my command, it's all right there. I have all the notes from every conversation we've had because that is what I do. It's my habit. So if you should be in command every day, which you should be. So let me rephrase that. You should be in command every day. And so if you need to go into command every day, then maybe the night before you pull up command so that it's up and ready to go. Make it obvious. So when we come in, sit down at our computer, the first thing up when we open it up is our command. Make it obvious. Make it so that it's the first thing that you do. Make it easy. Same kind of thing. It's already pulled up for you. It's already done. Make it easy. Don't have it be something where you're like, now I have to search for it. What do I do again? This is why I tell people bookmark all the important things that you pull up all the time. So if we're talking about tracking, I have my tracker bookmarked because if I don't have it bookmarked and I have to search for it, inevitably I'm going to forget what it's called. I'm going to be like, how do I get into this again? What am I looking for? And then I'm going to be like, squirrel, and figure something else out that I want to do today. And then I've totally forgotten about it. So I need to make it easy. I need to make it where it's just a click and I'm ready to go, or even better, that it's already pulled up. Make it satisfying. So this is where we kind of like connect it to a reward. So maybe one of my rewards is some of that self-care stuff. So if I said, okay, I need to make 10 phone calls today. So if I make 10 phone calls and have 10 conversations, then after that, I get to take my puppies for a walk. Or after that, I get to go get my nails done. Or after that, whatever it is, make it satisfying. I would say, I would not tie it to something that is unhealthy. So for instance, I wouldn't say after that, you can go get a piece of candy, because that would not necessarily, while satisfying, yes, it's going to make some of your other goals a little bit harder to achieve. So you want to make sure it's satisfying, but make it something that is satisfying and good for you. And then make it stacked. What we mean by this is connect it to something else that you already do all the time. So if you already come into your office right away, then put it in your calendar, or not in your calendar, open up Command, have it be something that you already do. One of the things that I've heard before is somebody says, okay, well, I brush my teeth every day, so I'm going to connect making my phone calls to brushing my teeth every day. So basically when they're brushing their teeth, or maybe I guess right after, they're looking up to see who they can shoot a text to. Maybe it's your 10-10-5, your social media 10-10-5, 10 calls, or 10 likes, 10 comments, 5 private messages or shares. Maybe that's what it is. You stack it and you say, okay, as soon as I'm done brushing my teeth, I'm going to go on social media and do my 10-10-5. Your 10-10-5 should be quick, fast, easy. So this is a good one where you connect it, you make it stacked, you stack it on top of something that you're already doing. It's the same idea as like if you're walking through a living room and you see something on the floor, you don't say, oh, I'm going to go pick that up after I'm done. No, you do it right then and there because you're already walking through. If you're already doing something, connect something else to it to form that habit. If you already have a habit, connect something to it. Another thing that I would say is your day starts the day before. Make sure that when you're time blocking, that when you're setting yourself up for success in these kind of ways, making that habit, make sure that you do things the night before. Take a look at your calendar, see what you need to do the night before. Create your to-do list the night before. Especially if you're like, wow, I did not get everything that I wanted to get done today. Write your to-do list for the next day. So then when you come in, it's obvious, it's easy, and you start to get it done. Crossing off those lists, maybe crossing things off the list is what's satisfying to you. So start the night before. All right, now we're going to jump into command. So I am going to pull up my command. So while I'm pulling up my command, go ahead and pull up your command as well. Because what I want to show you, let me, I think I'm going to just share my screen. Okay, what I want to show you is we're going to be looking at your goals. So we're going to first create your goals if you have not done that yet. If you have done it, don't worry, you can track along with us. But my experience tells me that most of you probably have not done it. Even some people who are further along in their game, a lot of people don't even realize that this exists. So I want to make sure to kind of introduce this to you, and we're going to create your goals. We also want to make sure that we understand your conversion rates. And we want to know how many appointments you need to make a sale. And of course, we need to keep track of your progress. So all of these things you can do in Command. And I think that hopefully it doesn't glitch out on us. I think, okay, so this is my Command, and we are going to go to this reports. Anytime you want to go look at your business stuff, you want to go into reports. Now, keep in mind that on your desktop, you also have this goal breakdown. So you are able to see what is your goal breakdown, how far are you along in this year, all that kind of stuff. So you can still look at it, but to create it, we're going to go to reports right here. All right, so you can see that you have the dashboard and the overview and all of that. You have in here reports that you can pull. What we're going to look at today is this goals. So I'm going to click on goals. And you can see that we are, what does this say? This information is coming from opportunities applet and may not update instantly. Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, so what we're going to do is we're already in 2024, so that's fine. I'm going to click on goal settings, this little plus. So if you have never done your goals before, this is what you want to do. But even if you have done your goals, like you can see we have some goals here set. Even if you have done your goals, you want to click on that to change it if needed. All right, so we're going to set our goals and review our goals. So let's say get started. So our goal is for 2024. What is our annual 2024 profit goal? So our profit, meaning what are we going to put in our pockets? Now keep in mind, taxes are going to come off of this number. So just like if you had a W-2, your gross paycheck is, let's say $100,000. Well, you don't actually get that $100,000, taxes come out of that. Well, for us, we actually get that $100,000 and we have to set taxes aside to be able to pay them. So a lot of people say, okay, I want to make $100,000 this year. So let's say $100,000 is what we want to make. Well, if you notice over here, it says our GCI, which is our gross commission income, our full commission that we bring in, needs to be $160,000. And the reason for that is right here. We have expenses and cost of sales. So your expenses are going to be anything that you spend money on, essentially that's a fixed expense. Your phone, some advertising and marketing, maybe if you pay for an office, things like that, that's an expense. Your cost of sales are things that only happen if you have a sale. So things like your market center split, things like your TC fees, things like marketing pieces for a just listed, just sold. Those only happen if you have a sale. So that's the difference. And in general, for a $1 million business, taking from the MREA, the $1 Million Real Estate Agent book, Gary says 30% of your business is expenses and cost of sales. So we're not going to say 30,000 for each of those. If 30% of $100,000 is $30,000, then we're going to say for each of these, let's just guesstimate and say 15,000. And you can see over here that this number is changing. So now we need, if we want to bring in $100,000 profit, we need to make $130,000. Now your business makeup, you can split this up. If you know your business is made up of more buyers than sellers or more sellers than buyers or whatever it is, you can change this. In general, I'm going to leave it at 50-50 because that's what a strong, solid business should be. Even with the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, their business is made up of 50-50 buyers and sellers. So you want to keep that in 50-50 is probably good. Now your average commission, maybe this is going to be different. Maybe for buyers, your commission is a little bit lower. Let me close that out. Maybe for buyers, your commission is a little bit lower. Maybe for sellers, it's a little bit higher. But in general, again, I'm going to keep it the same across the board, just because this is going to spell it out for us. Let's be a little bit conservative with our numbers. So depending on your market center and your area, you're going to be a little bit higher than your average commission, than this average commission, 17,000, or a little bit lower. So in our Tulare County areas, your average commission is about 10 to 12,000. In West Ventura and Central Coast, it's about 17,000. In the other area, and probably Chino Hills is also about 17,000. In our areas that are like downtown LA, Lake Forest, Porter Ranch, those might be a little bit higher, like 19,000. But what you can do is you can go and see what are the average prices for homes. If you don't know your average commission, you can go and see what are the average prices of homes and then take about 2.5% from that. So that's going to be your number. But in general, you can say between 15 and 19,000. Okay, so now what we have here is we have our profit goal of $100,000. So our monthly profit goal is $8,000. Our business is made up of 50% buyers, 50% sellers, and then we have our average commission here. So we also have over here, our annual GCI is $130,000, and our cost of sales is about $15,000. Operating expenses are about $15,000. I will say that when you first get started, these numbers are probably going to be a little bit lower. However, again, I want to be conservative with what we're trying to do. If we're shooting for $130,000 and you end up only spending $10,000, great. You're just going to pocket more money. So I'm going to leave it. I tend to be a little more conservative with when I'm doing numbers. So this is how you want to do it. Now I'm going to say continue. And here's where your conversion rates come into play. So if these are set to the recommended rates. However, if you know your conversion rates, then you can change these here. Like if you say, once I have something under contract or pending, I really close like 90% of those. You can change that. I would not recommend, wait, it didn't change it. How come I can't change it? Hold on. Okay, maybe you can't change it. No, you should be able to change it. Maybe I need to set individually. Okay, there we go. So I guess you have to click that set individually, and now we can change it. Now, I will say again, I wouldn't recommend that. Unless you really know your conversion rates well, I would not change any of this. So you can see that it's like a funnel. And so what we're saying is leads come in at the top of the funnel, and for all of the leads that you bring in, you're closing about 5% of those. So realistically, when Command is talking about leads, they're talking about all kinds of leads, like Facebook leads, internet leads, SOI leads, all kinds of leads. So they're saying in general, you close about 5% of that. Now, once they move down the funnel and become one of your contacts, you still close about 5% of those. And I would say that depending on the contacts you have, some people have a really big list and they're probably going to close 5% in general. That's why we say your goal should be 500 contacts, because if you're closing about 5% of those, that's about 10 closings. So 500 contacts, we want 500 contacts in your command. If you don't have that yet, that's okay. That's why our goals are saying you need to increase your SOI. Well, then we keep going down the funnel and we say, okay, once we set an appointment, about 75% of those are going to close. Then we move down to appointments kept, about 75% of those are going to close, agreements, under contract and pending. Now, here's the thing is that when I first started in real estate, it was like, oh yeah, once you're under contract, it's closing. Like it's 95% sure that you're going to close. But now it's not as certain that you're going to close. There's a lot more buyer hesitation. There's a lot more, like if interest rates change suddenly and now the buyer can't qualify, they have to pull out and the house goes back on the market. There's a lot of that kind of thing. So 75%, I would leave this, even if you're under contract, still 25% of those are not going to close. So you can see that just because you have something under contract doesn't mean for sure it's going to close. And then we have to keep going up the funnel because it's the same kind of thing. So that's why real estate is a numbers game. You have to know your numbers and you have to grow your numbers. You have to make sure you're constantly feeding this funnel because only a certain percentage of those is going to get to the finish line. So we always want to make sure, even if we're saying, yes, I have a client. Awesome. I love that you have a client. But even still, there's only a 75% chance that they're going to get to the finish line. You have to make sure that you keep having clients in your pipeline. You have to make sure that you keep your pipeline full. And this is what we mean by that. I think this is a good visual for us. So once you get to this page, you don't have to change anything, and I would recommend that you don't. So now we're going to go to continue, and now it's just going to show us, here's a review of what we talked about. These are our goals. So now we're going to set our goals, and then it's going to bring us back out to this page. So based on what we put in here, my closed unit goal is 8 transactions. I want to have 8 closed deals, 8 closed houses, whatever. If I want to have 8, based on the conversion rates of only 75% of those are going to close, I need to have 10 under contract, or only 75% of these under contract are going to close. I need to have 10 under contract, which means that I need to have 14 agreements, which means that I need to have 18 appointments kept, which means that I need to have 24 appointments set, which means that I need to have 484 contacts. Do you see how that's very close to that 500 goal that we tell you to set? Which means that I need 9,000 leads. Now keep in mind, leads are people that you don't necessarily know. Contacts are people that you know. Leads are people who, like, they reached out to you on social media, you don't know them, or you did a Facebook ad and they put their name in. This is a lead. Until you've had a conversation back and forth, they're only a lead. They don't convert to a contact until you've made contact and they're basically agreeing to keep talking to you. If the only contact you've ever made is them saying, I don't want to talk to you, that's not going to work for you. So that's the difference here. Now, here's what we tell you to stick to. We tell you that your goal needs to be this 24 appointments set. Your goal needs to be appointments. Now, what we tell you is shoot for 1 appointment a week. Because if your goal is 1 appointment a week, there are going to be times when you can't get an appointment. There are going to be times when it doesn't happen and you can't, whatever, it doesn't work out and you don't get an appointment that week. But if you want to close, this is only closing 8 transactions. We have to make sure that we're doing 24 appointments a year. Now, what we can do too, and this is the part that gets a little bit glitchy sometimes, if we can switch over to this month, this tells me what I need to do in a month. So remember, my focus is appointments set. I need to have 2 appointments set a month. So now that's my goal. Now I have a goal in mind of what we're talking about. So I have to make sure that I'm reaching my goals. And you can see that my goal is 1 a month. Now, that's odd because I needed 8 in a year. But you can't have like 1.5 closed deals. They're whole numbers. But the beauty of this is if I stay on track and I close 1 a month, guess what? I'm going to close more than 8. I'm going to hit my goal and I'm going to exceed it. So we want to make sure that we are keeping track of our goals. This is a really nice way for us to visualize it, and it does the math for us. So keep that in mind. All right, let's keep moving forward. I know we are coming up on closing time here. All right, so what's important now? I want you to create your goals. Really sit down and write your SMART goals for each of those different areas of your life. Number 2, establish tiny habits that move your business forward. So whether that tiny habit is every night before you go to bed or before you close out your day, you want to make sure that you are setting your goal for the next day. You want to make sure that you're writing your to-do list. Whatever those tiny habits are, get those habits ingrained now. And then track your habits. Use a habit tracker to make sure you stay on track with those habits. So whether you print out like a piece of paper, you get it from Canva, you Google it and get a habit tracker, whether you put it on a whiteboard, whether you have an app on your phone, whatever it is, track your habits. They talk about there are a bunch of like, is it 66 days, 90 days, 21 days, however long, it is the same thing over time to get a habit built. So make sure that you're sticking with your habit for a long period of time, or else it's not going to become a habit and it's going to be a waste of your time. All right, bonus, my favorite books on goals. We talked about this one, the Atomic Habits, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, really good one, just about really like becoming the person you want to be. The One Thing, I mentioned that book a number of times in today's meeting. So that's a book by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, a really good book to really help focus you. And then number 4 is The Miracle Morning. There is, I love these kind of like set your morning intention kind of books or ideas. This is a really good one. There's also a Miracle Morning for real estate agents. It's the same thing, but it is in real estate lingo. So I recommend that one too. All right, next week we are talking about the market of the moment with our special guest lender, Martin Rosenblum. So he is going to come and talk to us about what this market looks like, what it means for buyers, what it means for sellers, what we can do with our clients and how to talk to them. So highly recommend you guys come, same time, same place. If you want to learn more about coaching, reach out. If you feel like your business is stalled, if it's not where you want it to be, if you're not capping, make sure that you're coming and talking to me about coaching and how we can help. Well, I hope that helped. And remember, I'm here every Monday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to help you move your business forward. Join me in the weekly workshops where you can come live and get your questions answered in real time. I would love to see you there. Register at the link below. And remember, if you have questions about coaching or want to dive in or even just want to have a call to me to see how you can grow your business, schedule a call with me in the link below. I'd love to help. In the meantime, if you're getting value out of this, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for staying for the whole thing. Check out the other videos that we have that are sure to move your business forward. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.